New costs could be coming from the health care law, and taxpayers could be forced to pick up the tab yet again. So it involves a little-known fine print part of the Obamacare law that has the government bailing out insurance companies once costs run over a certain amount. Joining me now, our political panel, Julie Roginski, Fox News contributor and former political advisor to the late Senator Frank Lautenberg, and David Webb, also Fox News contributor. Good to see you both.
Good to see you again.
All right, David. So when I re-educated myself on this today, there's already a bailout for insurance companies in the Obamacare law. People are going to be really upset about that if they didn't already know it. Explain it.
First of all, nobody read the bill as far as the congressman and voted on it, but the insurance companies lobbied for this in part, realizing that while Obamacare was being written, they would get hit with caps. They would get hit with not being able to support the increase in the people on the rolls, and the fact that the federal government forced provisions, this is key, forced things on them that people don't need. Choice has been removed, so they have to pick it up. What do companies do? They either pass it on in costs. That means you're either going to pay more for insurance, or you're going to have to be subsidized, which means taxpayer dollars they'll be taken to subsidize. It's a we're talking $25 to $30 billion, and with a few swipes of the pen, this could become an even more expensive proposal for the taxpayers.
But Julie, is this yet another example of the fact that the lawmakers, I don't know, Republicans too, I guess, did they read this? I don't remember hearing.
Republicans didn't vote for this.
I know they didn't, but I don't remember a huge outcry. I'm not laying blame on this, but this is a big deal because there's been a lot of discussion about an insurance bailout, and everybody's like, oh, no, that will never happen. Right. Nobody would ever go for that. Well, guess what? It's already in the bill.
So the incentive for this was obviously to get insurance companies to participate in the exchanges because, again, they were trying to get insurance companies more than just one or two to participate in the exchanges in order to give people choice, in order to bring the cost down. The way they were structuring this, and I agree with David, it actually is troublesome to me to some extent, though I understand the rationale behind it, was to ensure that if you got more sick than healthy people on the exchanges, which they are, or so far, we'll know the numbers at the end of March, but we will know, essentially it allows insurance companies to then go out there and say, we're not going to absorb the cost of all these sick people for 2 years.
What it said, that's a nice way of putting it. What it says is that you and me and everyone else in this room are going to be footing the bill when it goes over a certain amount.
But we've been footing the bill for, I hate to break this to everybody, we've been footing the bill for insurance companies for years.
Not in this way.
Different issue. Here's what we have. The young invincibles who are the ones they need to sign up for this. The young people that, by the way, have high unemployment, their earnings track beginning to look worse than the current generation. They will have to pay this bill. This was part of Obamacare's problem as a piece of legislation. Overall, it needs to be subsidized or waived to exist. The problem is this should never have been done, and Obama and the Democrats 100% did this to the American people.
The good news is it sunsets in 2 years, so we hopefully won't have to pay for it for long.
All right, moving on to the next topic. Former Defense Secretary Robert Gates speaking for the first time about his blistering new book. In his memoir, he makes explosive allegations that the president did not believe in his own Afghanistan strategy. Gates interviewed yesterday on CBS Sunday Morning.
It's one thing to tell the troops that you support them. It's another to work at making them believe that you believe, as president, that their sacrifice is worth it, that the cause is just. President Bush did that with the troops when I was secretary. I did not see President Obama do that.
Well, just moments ago, Press Secretary Jay Carney responding to questions about Gates' book.
Well, I think the same way I reacted last week, which is that the commitment the president has to our men and women in uniform is profound and deep. I think that was reflected by Secretary Gates, and his commitment to the mission that he has asked them to perform, and which they have performed and are performing admirably and heroically in Afghanistan, is passionate and deep.
Well, time to debate. Julie, also Gates went on to say that the only time Obama showed passion for military issues was over the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Well, and then today, Gates went on the Today Show and said he's sorry that this has actually become a political football because he actually didn't disagree with the president on virtually anything while he was in the White House.
Well, he disagreed with most of these pages that David has right here.
Well, David, I don't know what David cherry-picked, but look, you could cherry-pick interviews, and I'm telling you, I cherry-picked one right now that completely discounts what you just said. So, look, from Obama's perspective, this is a guy who inherited 2 wars that he didn't want. He didn't want to be in Iraq.
Necessary.
He didn't want one that he said was necessary, but one that he implemented the surge on and then realized perhaps he wasn't fully committed to it. So,
well, what does he say? No, wait a minute. You say that like it's a passing thought. A war that he's not fully committed to. Thousands of people have died in that war,
He's pulling people out of that war. I'm sorry.
Thousands of people. More people have died in that war.
Did he initiate that war?
But if he didn't believe in his strategy, if he didn't believe in his strategy, Julie, David,
he pulled
this
them
is
out.
the argument they want to have. First of all, General Jack Keane has been on this channel and has spoken about the mistakes made in the surge, which was 25% less, therefore ineffective from a military point of view. I'm not cherry picking. Inside this book, and I still have to go through it in detail, and in the press that I've looked at before and in the excerpts, we have a secretary talking about one key issue, the difference in how presidents act versus their words when it comes to the military.
Right.
Bush had clearly, by his deeds and by what he did, how he believed in the military. Obama goes back to the Clinton 90s when they wanted to eviscerate the military, lower the Navy from 600 ships to less, and Jim Webb resigned over that. Here we have another secretary.
You're still debating the Bush war record? I'd love to hear you debate it because nobody agrees with you anymore.
There's so much debate in this book. Unfortunately, I gotta go. Julie,
soldiers.
David, great to see you both. Remember that polar vortex that brought record-freezing temps across the country last week? Well, wait till you hear about later this week. Cold snap set to hit our country again, brr. Plus, all this frigid weather making warm drinks popular, but now McDonald's facing new legal troubles over its coffee. We'll explain. Too hot again?
So Ally Bank has a raise your rate CD that won't trap me in a rate.
That's correct.
Because I'm really nervous about getting trapped.
Why is that?